All right.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. Did you enjoy your Christmas?
Hope you had a nice Christmas, folks.
What'd you get?
Not sure. Cause
You didn't get the ability to tell the future.
no,
for
sadly
Christmas.
not. Because we are obviously not recording this
Yeah.
post-Christmas.
We like you. We don't like you that much.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to spend time with our families too. Not that you're listening to this on Boxing Day either. And if you are, get back to your families.
Yeah, exactly. Don't listen to us on Boxing Day. God.
27th is good though. That's my birthday, by the way.
No.
Feel free to send me some birthday messages tomorrow.
Dog poo in the post. Here we go.
Be better. Better than nothing. This one, isn't it?
We've got more important things to talk about. Our 2024 recap
Boom.
and our goals for 2025.
Yeah, it's a good time to, the next week is coming up and you're probably already thinking about what changes you're going to make to next year, what your goals for next year are. But you can't really do that.
I know I am.
Yeah, you can't really do that without reflecting on the year that you've had. And 2024 has been, well, I mean, I think I've had a good year. I've had a fun year. It's been a busy year.
I've had a good year. I think for me this year it's been a bit mixed because obviously, like, as you know, we had Brody, which was our third baby, and I would say that definitely like impacted the service that I was able to deliver, because I've always delivered my wedding films. I've always said, between, I think it was like 16 to 20 weeks, and it was never that long. Like, it wasn't even close to that. Whereas I've taken it down to the wire, with a couple just by having that time out. And I'm trying not to feel too guilty about it, obviously, just because we had a baby. Life happens and stuff. But, so yeah, it's a little bit mixed. It's been a really, really good year, though, for me.
Yeah.
We're not having any more children. So that's the last that will be happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really, really good year for me.
Yeah. I mean, on that front, it has been a good year, but I definitely feel like there's some fine tuning required on my end, because I tried a new system this year. I got a little bit of help with organization of footage and just kind of getting things, speeding up the process on that end. But because of that, I took more time in doing other things, which meant that I'm kind of still in the same position as I normally am with a bit more preparation. So
yeah, but also let's face it, because as you know, Jason does like the editing and stuff like that, or has been doing the editing for the podcast, so that does take up time.
It definitely takes up time, and I think I've definitely made some realizations about myself this year about how I work. Like, it was weird when I had a full-time job, I was able to just crack out edits in the morning and kind of go later, but things have evolved since then in terms of what I do with my films. But I definitely feel like the mistakes I've learned from this year, I'm putting towards next year, and that shouldn't happen again.
I think that's something that I've noticed, like, especially with this year as well, just with being so busy, because you book so far in advance. Like, a lot of these weddings were booked in way before I knew we were going to be having Brody. And yeah, I'd like to not have as many, which I have done. Like, for next year, I've cut it down quite considerably in terms of like the amount that I'm shooting, but also I can do that now as well because my price point is much higher than it was, again, 2 years ago. And these ones that are going to be coming up for next year have pretty much all been booked at thereabouts at the price point that I'm at the moment. So it affords me the luxury to do less. Just because I'd like to be more present with the boys and stuff and Kirsty. But yeah, I've cut the amount certainly that I'm doing for next year, and I feel like way better about it. I've got a lot less, because obviously, as you said, the things with the podcast is going to start. It's getting bigger with especially like recently, and thank you to everybody that has been tuning in and all our new listeners. But we've had like a really big jump as of late in terms of subscribers and downloads every week. So yeah, It's great to see the podcast growing, and obviously we've got the summit, which is also going to take up time.
The summit. Good
So
God.
we've got we've got some pretty big plans in terms of like what we want for the summit and for the experience to give you guys for that. So, and we just want to give you the best day and night possible. So that is going to take up quite a lot of planning. So, but thankfully this year, like I don't actually have a lot at the start of the year, whereas this year in 2024 I had loads at the start of the year. Like I had like tons at the start of the year. See, between kind of like basically started in February, and it was like full on until like May, and then it got extra full on in like June, July. So yeah, at least I'll have that kind of breathing room, and then by that point, obviously caught up with all the editing and stuff. So, in terms of like let's start with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So we started the podcast on I think we uploaded our first episode on April 17th.
16th, I think.
Google it. Go on to it.
Go on.
Let's see who's right. Who do you think is going to be right?
You know me and dates. I am shit hot when it comes to dates. I am putting my foot in it. But, how do I find this out?
I'm the stats guy, remember?
How do you find this out?
Buzzsprout.
All right.
Type in your password. I love Danny.
Not. Right, episodes. Come on! What? Must have been done at 11:59.
April 17th, my boy.
All right, okay.
So we started the podcast on April 17th. It was our first like episode. That was us, and that was quite. Remember that first, because we were in here. And we spent so long, like, because we scripted out that intro for the pod. Remember
The intro episode.
Remember that, and we
Yeah.
brought Connor in. So Connor McCune is a photographer, and he does a little bit of filming as well. And we got him sitting here, and he's like, that doesn't sound like you. It sounds like quite corporate, because we'd scripted it out. And how long did we spend? Must have been about 2 hours.
2 hours recording a 2-minute video.
It was painful.
Yeah.
So painful.
Do you know what Connor actually did there? I think he changed the direction of this podcast, because we could have easily gone down that route all the time because I remember when we started the podcast, I had certain ideas that I was like, no, it needs to be like this. It needs to be like this. It needs to be like this. And I'm so glad that I threw them at the window, because the way we do it now is a lot more natural. And yeah, based on podcasts I listened to before, I thought, oh, these are the things that I got value out of.
Yeah.
This is what I want to include. And actually, no. It doesn't matter. But yeah, he came in there and
It just went nah.
threw it at the window.
And then what we done? So Connor said, "Look, just scrap that and just ad lib it. Don't look at whatever whatever's written down. Just ad lib it." And remember, we done it, and it was one take.
One take. And that's why at the end of that episode, if you've listened to it, it's the very first thing where we describe what we're doing. At the end of it, Dan and I are just like so excited. We go, that was great. Because we're like, oh my God, we actually did it. And it sounded exactly how we wanted it to.
One take, which was hilarious. So yeah, that was a funny moment.
I mean, it'd been a few months in the making to get up to that, because we've mentioned it a few times in the podcast, but I think obviously we spoke about it maybe in February of 2023 and on a night out about what we wanted to do. We hadn't like got a studio or anything about that, but we didn't get one until July. And that's when we started kind of making the space of, where we'll do it. But then maybe in like September or October, we started really thinking, okay, what kind of stuff we're going to talk about? What can we talk about? And we sat on some couches over here and we just rattled off some subjects we want to talk about, which actually, were the inspiration behind some of the first episodes that we did. And it wasn't, I think we kind of alleviate the fears that, oh God, we've got the studio now, but can we actually talk to each other?
Yeah. Well, it worked. It worked,
did work.
and it's working, which is great.
Which is nuts if you think, if you exclude like the Monday day episodes, is this episode 42, 43?
This will be 42.
Yeah, I mean, on paper it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot of conversations.
So
I always remember people say,
also
like,
a
don't
lot
start
of
a
work.
podcast unless you can think of 50 ideas. So enjoy the next 8 episodes, guys. Because after that, we're out.
most podcasts don't get past 3 episodes. Did you
Most
know that?
podcasts don't. No,
Yeah.
no.
Like it's something like 9. Is it 80% of podcasts don't get past 3 episodes?
Something like that. Yeah, I can see why.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, doing
it's
this by yourself would be
it's a time
super
sink.
difficult.
Yeah, it's a time sink.
Um,
So yeah, and then I can't remember what the other figure was, but they don't get past 6 months. There's another percentage that don't get past 6 months of the ones that actually make it past the 3 episodes. It's quite low. So yeah, we're hanging around. We're
Yeah.
still here. We're not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
well, we are going somewhere
We
for
are.
the break right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Enjoy this advert. What is the absolute best way to deliver a wedding film?
In our opinion, there is no better option than VidFlow.
From the features including apps where people can watch it directly on their home screen on their phone,
From the sleekest of interfaces,
customize it completely to your brand colors,
have video backgrounds and gallery music.
allow your couples to watch their films on the big screen at home just like it was intended. VidFlow have kindly given you a 10% discount on the Pro package on vidflow.co.
Use the code TWVP10 at checkout on any of VidFlow's Pro plans.
To receive 10% discount on that Pro plan and change the way you deliver wedding films. Level up your video delivery experience with VidFlow. I remember something that happened. Was it the first time you got a one-to-one conversation with Russell on this pod? Yeah. That was a big moment for you, wasn't it? Good
Yeah.
old Russell.
Yeah, do love a bit of Russell.
And now he's like seen you plenty of times this year. Like you can't seem to get rid of you.
I know.
No, that was pretty cool. I think obviously you start a pod because you want to bring on people that inspire you. And obviously since day dot, Russell and Danny have, you've absolutely been purchasing all those products, and then we get them in the podcast. We have an awesome conversation with them.
Get to hang out with him for 5 days.
In Ireland, which is all. You talk about Ireland as well. Christ. Ireland, and obviously down in Coda, he shouted you out in front of a room of 130 videographers, which was
For being an absolute mug.
so that was pretty cool. And yeah, I think obviously the range of guests that we've had on the podcast, mostly from the UK, which is what we kind of set out to do, to kind of find more people in the UK to talk to.
Yeah, I think obviously with that direction, because that was how we started, wasn't it? It was going to be like, it was aimed at a UK wedding filmmaker audience. I guess what we're also starting to see now, though, is we are starting to get a bit of an audience across in the States and like in Australia and stuff, which is super cool. And thank you so much for. I hope you can understand us, because we talk fast sometimes. But yeah, I think that's obviously that was bound to happen at some point anyway. But I think obviously regardless, our perspective is always going to come from like the UK.
Yeah, I mean
the UK side of things.
The core principles of what we do. I mean, we're not talking about anything that is unknown if you're a videographer.
Yeah.
We're not here essentially saying, oh, this is how it goes here, and this is because the core principles are you need to have good systems in the back end. You need to, there's so many crossovers.
I think that's as well why it's like it's good getting like the guests on, like for instance from overseas, just to kind of like talk about, because there's so much that we can also learn from filmmakers across. And
I mean, before this
States and
podcast,
stuff.
pretty much the only stuff I would consume was from the States, so I was kind of in their mindset most of the time, and obviously I could take a lot of things away, which is why we've done workshops, and I've said, okay, now I'm about 60-70% of everything they're saying. I'm like, okay, I've already applied that to my business. A couple of things here I need to kind of pick up on, but there's some things that I would do that they wouldn't think of doing either. So
we'll continue to get like awesome guests on just to chat through with them. I've actually, I've really liked the biggest balls up question.
That's been super insightful.
It's been class. See, just like getting to hear everybody's mishaps and stuff like that, especially from people that you just think have everything figured out and have everything nailed, and then you go, oh no, like they have their moment. Everybody's human. So I think that's been really cool. And yeah, like loads planned for next year. It's going to be like a busy one for the podcast. But you know what? I'm proud of where we've got to over that 9 months, because we've got a couple of sponsors now. We've got the summit going, and yeah, it's been like a really full on 9 months, but it's all been worth it. But the biggest thank you goes out to you guys. All you folk that listening to us week in, week out, and continue to just give us nice feedback in the way of DMs. One thing we would like, though, is a few more voice notes from you, because we've not had a massive amount. We'd like to feature some of your stuff. So we're going to try and, for next year, one of our missions is going to be to try and encourage that a little bit more, so that we can get you guys featured on the podcast in terms of like your voices and stuff. So we'll figure out a way to do that. But yeah, we constantly get like really nice DMs and just folk telling us that they love the podcast and stuff. So thank you.
Thank you.
To all of yous.
The voice note thing, I think before we started the podcast, it was like, right, we're going to have like voice callers, obviously people not calling in live, but like voice notes sound like they're calling in live, ask questions and stuff. Yeah, we would like to encourage that a bit more. Another thing that we'd like to aim for next year is to build more of a community platform. We have, I really like the platform Discord. I think I've used it a few times. So, I'm putting this on wax right now that I'll be putting work into creating some sort of Discord community for us.
Yeah, because I think we're kind of done. Well, I think I'm done with like Facebook groups and stuff. Like, it's literally the only reason that I log into Facebook now. And to be honest, I would rather just get rid of it. So
I'm like, I log into Facebook to check up on one of the pages, and then half an hour goes by, and I've watched like Facebook Reels and stuff. I'm like, oh my god.
So literally, I don't even bother with that anymore. I go into the group, check it, boom, like leave whatever.
If you can find the group, I'm part of so many groups. Facebook is such a cluster. I get notifications for anything and everything.
Just random mints that comes onto my feed. There's no rhyme or reason. It's like the algorithm's totally screwed.
It's quite frustrating. So Discord, if you haven't used it before, is a really good forum type platform where,
because that would just be for us, wouldn't it?
Just be for us. So literally, you can go on and you can, like, if you've got kit to sell, if you want to like have a chat about wedding blunders, your biggest balls up page, something like that. I mean, then we can obviously take stuff from that, put it in the podcast. I think it would be a really cool place. There's also a really cool call feature in it, which I think is a cool idea. Like, just go to the messaging service, log in, and you're on a call, driving home from a wedding. You can be chatting about the day you've had with other videographers driving home.
Joint editing sessions and
stuff.
Yeah,
little joint editing sessions, something like that. Obviously, I think it'd be a really cool idea. So look out for that in the new year as well. That's going to be a really cool addition.
That's exciting.
But yeah, like you said, I'm Zero Proud too. I think I didn't really see us being here already. To be fair, when in April I didn't see here. Like I couldn't see here what it looked like. But no, it's been I can't believe it's only been like 8 months.
What, 9?
9 months. I can't believe it's only been 9 months. Doesn't feel like it at all, and yet it does. Well, it feels like 2 years, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, but we've got the summit next year,
which is going to be so nerve-wracking.
So exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. But like, I know in March I'll be like, oh yeah, we arranged this, didn't we? We'll be fine. I mean, I'm buzzing at what we've got planned. There's so many things that you still don't know about.
So much. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that, and just generally like looking forward to seeing where we'll be with the podcast in like another 6 months. I think come the year mark, I'm not put it in stone in the podcast, but I think we're going to be hitting like quite a big milestone come that year mark in terms of like downloads.
Well, much larger than I thought, because I had in my mind how many people might listen to the podcast, and we've far superseded that. We've gone well over that, which is amazing. But there's definitely a thirst for this kind of stuff, and I think the UK has done a really good job of putting content out there.
I think it's just hitting. It's obviously just resonated with people at the right time. Yeah. So thank you to all of you. I think that's us, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
we can wrap it up because you need a Red Bull.
I mean, it's just Christmas. I've got turkey in my belly and I'm stuffed.
Guys, thank you so much for 2024. We are so humbled that you have listened to us natter on for the last 9 months. But here is to 9 more months of us and many more than that. So happy New Year when it comes. And yeah, we'll see you on the other side. For now, I've been Danny.
I've been Jace.
See you next year.
Oh, nice. I like that. Yeah. Good.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
2025, here we go. Oh, that was terrible. Let's try again. See you next year.
It's because you're doing it with your left hand.
What is going on? Just